So I took a U.S. history class last year in college.
I actually did not really know a whole lot about it.
I knew he was the president.
He was a president.
I don't know which one.
7th president.
Honestly, I didn't know a lot about him.
He's maybe on Mount Rushmore.
Well, from what we learned in U.S. history, 7th president, right? Yeah, 7th president.
He's on Mount Rushmore.
He's on the $20 bill.
He was on the $20 bill.
Nothing besides that he was on the $20 bill.
He's on the $20 bill.
He's on the $20 bill.
He's on the $20 bill?
On the $20 bill.
$20 bills is kind of the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah, he's on Mount Rushmore.
I didn't know a whole lot about Andrew Jackson. I went to school in Canada and didn't have to take a lot of U.S. history, so I knew that he was on some money, and I knew that he fought a lot of battles and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know.
We didn't really get in depth in his presidency at all.
Very violent. Very violent. Didn't care who got in his way, just shot him, killed him, whatever.
Hardcore kind of guy, president.
That he was in the Battle of New Orleans.
He's like in the top 15 or 10 of the presidents. Somewhere in there.
What I learned in school, I didn't learn a lot about him. I knew that he was a president and that he was majorly the cause of the Trail of Tears and that he did not like the bank. Literally nothing. That's about it. That he formed the Democratic Party. Yeah, you're right.
I didn't know a lot about Andrew Jackson. I knew he was one of our presidents, and I knew that he was on the $20 bill. And other than that, I kind of didn't remember a lot about him from history.
I know this little song, you know, you can keep all the presidents in order. Washington's Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Buchanan, Taylor, Johnson, Polk, and Taylor, Fillmore, Peace, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, and Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Taylor, Johnson. Nope, that's all I got for you.
That Van Buren was his successor.
And I will be playing Martin Van Buren. I didn't even know he was a president.
The Trail of Tears.
The Trail of Tears was, well, a horrible thing that happened to Native Americans.
It was awful, and they removed Indians, Native Americans.
Forced the native populations to give up their land to the U.S. government.
I knew that it was the removal of a tribe from one place somewhere else against their will. They walked thousands of miles and like thousands of people were murdered and people died and it wasn't good.
A lot of them died on the trail.
It forced Native Americans to move from Georgia.
I don't know anything about the Indian Removal Act.
It was issued by Andrew Jackson, and I just learned like the basic stuff and like, you know, maybe spent like a day on it in history class about how Indians were basically moved from point A to point B.
That they were moved from Georgia to Oklahoma for the Trail of Tears. And the Cherokee, who were in Georgia, they had a constitution, they had Declaration of Independence, they did everything they could.
And thousands and thousands and thousands died.
Like it was kind of compared to the Holocaust, but made out to be not nearly as bad, and like, oh, it was so long ago kind of thing. So it was kind of just like, oh, here's this really sad thing that happened, but anyway, on to the rest of American history.
And you can't move a whole group of people from their home.
All I remember was they got moved from where they were to somewhere they didn't want to be.
Pretty much nothing.
No, I have no knowledge of that at all. I've heard of it.
Like, ooh, you know, made me uncomfortable.
It was called the Trail of Tears because
their tears were just kind of ingrained as they were moving from the south to the west.
It may have like popped up for a brief hot second in our history book.
Like the little blurbs you get at the bottom of your history textbook about the Trail of Tears, because they won't do a full page on it. It's just a side blurb, which is weird.
I remember in high school, or maybe it was middle school, watching a video on the Founding Fathers' American history, and it was a 10-second spiel of, this was the Trail of Tears, and a bunch of people were killed, and then it went on to something else. I think it was the Mormons. It went immediately into how the Mormon church was started.
They kind of just gloss over it in U.S. history class.
Not very much. We kind of skim over that part of history a lot of the time.
Percentage of history from this time period?
Percent of this period of history. Like a 4%, probably. Not much.
Like 3.
5%.
I'm gonna say like a good 10% if I'm giving myself credit.
25%.
35%.
I'm not really sure. I guess I'd say 20% maybe.
13.
20?
Like 4.
Maybe like 5-10%.
4%. 25 to 30%?
Maybe 5%.
I would say I'm at about like 30%.
3%?
2 or 3%.
Maybe 5%.
Like 4% maybe.
25%?
I came in here and said that we should have a powwow, but I hesitated because, can you say that? I don't know. But a month ago I wouldn't have thought twice about saying that, but now with even just a little bit that we've learned, it makes you think about what you say and, you know, where that came from and if you're being offensive, and makes you think twice.